just capturing 2 each right now. Which for when you only have 3 symbols, it seems to work okay. So if you hit train, it runs training based on what it captured. So if I do, let's say, paper, and I do run, it below it recognizes paper or scissors or rock. Ooh. So this runs live. Like these rock, paper, scissors aren't predefined. So if you want to do something else, you can start over with whatever set of symbols that you want to do. My original aim was to actually get it working with. I wanted to get it working with ASL, American Sign Language, the alphabet from there, because my binary system is kind of, it's really hard to do this thing. So, like, and presumably ASL is a lot easier to do with your hands, because that's what it's meant for. But the problem with that is if you look up ASL alphabet, there's a lot of symbols that's kind of easier for humans to distinguish, but it's a bit wonky. Like A and E kind of look the same to the leap motion, because they both look like no fingers. Yeah. But I mean, we can kind of tell. I mean, I probably still can't if someone does it. But to the leap, they look kind of similar. So it's a bit more challenging. Plus, there's some letters like J and Z which are time series, which right now I don't do. I'm just doing static frames. But those are movements. But I probably, if you do enough training frames, it could get reasonably good at it. But when I tried it with A to E, just those 5, every time I did an E, it would say A. It worked for B, C, D, and E, but not for A. So your mileage. But yeah, so this is what I found.
Cool. What is the library again?
It's called brain.js. So they have a sort of example thing they have, which is recognizing color contrast. Like you sort of say which one you prefer, and this is the example project they have. So over time, they try to prefer how you prefer your contrast to work, and then try to predict what you would want it to look like. Which, like for example, like I seem to prefer that to this, based on what I just chose. So that's the example project they have. But in general, it's just you feed it any sort of you feed it a set of numbers like this. Like you give it inputs and then you give it expected output. And then you give it new input, it'll try and predict what the output should be. Which is